was doing this for my country. I love my country. And he goes, I had a moment like in that movie where I realized that I was basically being used by the rich and the powerful people who weren't accountable to anybody. And they pretty much did as they pleased because they could set me up to dry. They could set me up for a sacrifice, all just so they could keep that corporate money going. Well, I think this is where I get back into the UFO thing. This was a thing in the Joe Rogan experience where they were talking to it, and it goes with the CIA refusing to give information to Jimmy Carter. I've heard that story. I've heard some stuff implied too that they did it with Bill Clinton. There's actual a video you might be able to find where people were asking Bill Clinton about UFOs, and I think it was after he left office. And he literally shouted back to the person. Again, you think that he'd just sort of ignore it because the guy's crazy. And he said, hey, look, I asked him, he goes, if they found anything out about UFOs, they didn't tell me about it either. So he made it sound like, and there was a guy that worked for him, he did an interview, and he had some kind of a, it's one of those jobs that isn't Senate confirmable. It actually has a certain amount of responsibility. And I can't remember if he was in the counsel's office or if he was at the Department of Justice. But he had something to do with the legal framework. And this guy said that when he got the job from Bill Clinton said, well, you got this job, do whatever you're supposed to. But he said, the only thing I want to know, the only two things I need you to do for me because I put you in here is he goes, I want to know who killed Kennedy. And he goes, I want to know if aliens are real and what's at Roswell. And he said he couldn't find out. He did that, and I can't remember the guy's name. If I'm not mistaken, it's the guy that got into trouble because he went to the National Archives and tried to steal some documents. I might be wrong. It might be a different guy, but I think that's the guy. He got into a little bit of trouble. But the way he explained it, he couldn't find out any information. He really tried. And but anyways, now that we've got that on the table, these are stories I've heard, and there is some corroborating. Like I said, Bill Clinton, yelled back at someone, "Hey, I asked about the aliens, and they didn't tell me about it either." Well, there are some memos out there, if they're real documents, if they're not fake, that there was a guy, and I don't know if this was when George Bush was president or when Obama was president, but this guy got in, and he was a person who was supposed to have access to all the. He was basically the guy at the Pentagon who was in charge of all the special access programs. Um, they're like a unique classified program. The Black Ops are in this. Other, I'm not a military guy. I can tell you what I've heard. I can try and explain to you what I've heard, and I'm probably going to get some of it wrong. I'm doing the best I can. But he was supposed to be in charge of all these special access programs. And according to the memo, they didn't want to tell him about this shit. He actually found some of these special access programs, and he sent his guy in. I don't think it was him. I think it was one of his guys, but it might have been a memo from him to who was either writing to the Secretary of Defense or like the Secretary of the Navy. He reported to one of these two guys. And he basically let him know the memo in question. Ooh, can this guy get to me? Hang on, I gotta kill. Anyways, he started reaching into it, and this might have been where, because there was a guy that they were interviewing, and I'm going from memory. I think I got the memory right, but I'm not completely sure. I think the guy's name is Dr. Greer. And if you get into that guy, be a little careful. I don't know if I trust him completely, but if it's the guy I think it is, his name's Dr. Greer, and he was basically the guy in question, whatever his name is. They brought him in, and I believe this was when Obama was president, I think. And he was brought in to brief somebody at the Department of Justice, and he also met, according to him, with someone from the CIA. And the reason they brought him in is because they thought they were being lied to, and that's what they told him. I don't think it was Clinton. I think it was Obama or Bush. I think it was Obama, but I'm not 100% sure. I like I said, I wanted to do this for like a couple weeks now, and it was a lot fresher in my head when I had this idea to do this for a stream topic. And but they brought him in because they thought they were being lied to, like allegedly previous presidents have been. And hey, biker joined. How you doing, buddy? But according to what, well, and this is another thing to keep in mind, just a little added thing. There was a video clip I recently saw where they showed President Trump and his son Jr. both talking about aliens. And so, and here's my thing: the president's the president, but his son's a nobody. Whatever briefing Don Jr. was given, I think we deserve to see the same thing. If they're basically telling that dipshit about aliens, I think we should be able. I think that should be public knowledge now, because that guy could not have passed any legitimate screen for his classificate for classified information. There's just no fucking way. But he was brought in, but the guy, the way he figured it, when he got in there, he thinks that the CIA guy, maybe not the defense guy, but the CIA guy that he talked to, he honestly thinks that guy was just pumping him for information to find out what he knew. But they were asking him stuff like, well, where do we need to look? Who do we need to talk to? Like what can you tell us to shorten our? Because they basically wanted to find out what was going on. And whoever these guys talked to in this memo, they found out who to start asking questions of. And it led to private contractors. It led to like defense contractors. And you'd have to, if you look around with the Joe Rogan experience, they will actually give you links or tell you how to search for it. And if I ever put this up on YouTube, if I can find the link to the Joe Rogan experience video where this was, if I can find it again, I will put that in there so you can like go to YouTube, check it out, and I might put a few other ones in there that are relevant to this. So you can actually go. You just want to go to AFKC Raw, and or I might put some clips up on Lag City, AFKC Lag City. I think the links are on Discord for that, but you'll be able to actually go and watch the videos that I saw. And but he honestly thought he was being picked over by the CIA just fine. But according to this memo, they talked to people, and it led them to defense contractors. And I don't know if it's the guy in question or if it was one of his lackeys, but the memo was written by one of those two, and it was about how they reached out to these defense contractors. And they let them know, go, hey, look, according to my job description, I have authority over all these special access projects. I am being led to believe that there are special access projects that you are connected to. I need to be brought up to speed on them so I can do my job. And the memo, and again, the memo might be a fake. I don't know. I don't know enough about such things to look at it and even hazard a guess. I really don't. But in light of the real things where the military has come out and said, yes, UFOs are real, Uh, in this memo, the guy basically said that the people he talked to were pissed off that he even knew to contact them. He didn't know anything. And he said they were pissed that he even knew about them to contact them. And there was a little bit of feedback between him. It was this guy was reporting, he was getting feedback from his superior. And they go, well, who did you talk to? I can't say. That's a core secret or core classification or something. None of this makes sense to me, but it was something about it being a core secret or a core classification. He couldn't even put it in the memo to his superior. And the thing that was brought up, he goes, well, this has had to have happened before because you fall under our jurisdiction. And he was informed that yes, it did happen once before, and they did brief that person, but it was agreed that at that time that it would never happen again. And so they were pissed off. Hey, what's up, buddy? And it sounded like these guys really didn't want to talk. They didn't know what to do because in their world, this wasn't supposed to have happened. And the way, and I'm missing a lot of stuff. Like I said, I will try and, hey, thank you for coming. It's Pixel, right? I have trouble if you guys use the same names. I have it, but I think it's me or Bouncy. I think it's one of the guys I play with, but he plays as Pixel Pizza on the game. Um, but he just did not want to talk about it. And then the way the guy was explaining it, they basically told him that he would have to talk to their superiors and they'd have to talk to certain people at the Pentagon. Well, he figured he would have their full support because this was his actual responsibility. And the way the memo worked was, I think it said something in the memo about his career would be ruined. He would either be drummed out of the military or he would be, you know, knocked down in rank. He'd be punished. He's basically told to drop it. And like I said, it goes back with, and when you put it together with the other stories about Carter and Clinton, I find it entirely possible that this thing happened. I really don't know. I don't know. But these were some interesting things that Rogan was talking about. I can't believe I have gone this far down and not found one debris yet. This is unusual. I think I've ended